A rest in God, completely undismayed. The kind of rest that we're really looking for, that the heart seeks to bring contentment, the contentment of being. The kind of rest comes only when we realize that there's actually nothing to do. Not that there ever was anything to do, or that there ever will be anything to do, but it certainly seemed that way. And when that agenda that somehow has to be fulfilled is seen as finished, when like Jesus on the cross, you say it's accomplished, then there's rest. And the rest is in that, just that realization there really is nothing to do. That's a statement of perfect allegiance to what it is that you really are. That there isn't anything to add to it or take from it. It's complete. The troubled mind, the mind that is incessantly thinking, seems to be the cause of restlessness. and we're not at peace with that continuous thinking, that getting principle that operates the mind, operates thoughts, keeps them continuous and never ending. That actually isn't the restlessness itself, it's the effect of the restlessness. The restlessness itself is buried beneath, deep into the heart, where the heart is not content, where the heart is wanting something, needing something. It feels that something's missing. That is coming from a sense of lack and from a belief in separation. But what that does, that inner needfulness, it creates an intention. And the intention itself is the core, is the root of all this doingness and all this thinkingness. And this continuous drivenness that we are as human beings. And so we need to forgive it. And the forgiveness comes when we give it to the Holy Spirit. And there may be quite a process in coming to the core of that, because we have a certain amount of resistance. But when we finally discover what it is, when the Holy Spirit shines his light onto it, and we see where it really is, in the darkness, buried beneath, under that dark cornerstone. And we see it then in all its raw simplicity. What we discover is that it hasn't any real purpose. It has no causation. It's just hanging there without roots. And its only purpose is to create restlessness, to create a sense of separation that doesn't allow us to connect with the peace that we really are within. So when we see that, when that is actually allowed to be seen by awareness, it can't survive, it dissolves. It's lost the secretness that kept it hidden. The lie is uncovered. And when that lie is uncovered and you see that the intention can be for many things, but all of them are for nothing. There is no real intention there except to intend, to maintain the sense of intention. And it's all illegitimate and has no purpose. And when it's seen in that way, it dissolves. And then there's rest, because there's nothing to do. Then there's contentment, an inner contentment of being. You see, that intention represents a core grievance. And it's that core grievance those core grievances, because there are others that keep us seemingly searching and seeking for something that we actually already have. The work that we're doing is simply about letting go of grievances. And when we're truly integrous in our desire to be free, and we let these grievances go, and we have this true intention. Well, there is an intention. And of course, that intention brings restlessness. But it's a different kind of restlessness. This kind of restlessness that it brings is coming from a true intention, and it does have a purpose, and it does have roots, and it does have a causation. The causation is to be with God, to be free, to be out of this carnal thinking. So when that intention creates the restlessness is a different kind of restlessness. It's an awakening. And yes, it's a little disturbing, a little disjunctive, as the Course says, but it's real. And we can see that. We can see that although it's uncomfortable, it's going somewhere. It's ending the needlessness of doing to be, when all we really want to do is just simply be without any doing. So that restlessness really is, or that intention that creates that restlessness, that true intention, it is in fact an illusion, but it releases us from illusions. It's like forgiveness is an illusion that releases us from the need to forgive. So that when we actually see, after forgiving, that there's really nothing to forgive, then we see that forgiveness is an illusion, but it serves a purpose. There's a beautiful idea in the Advaita teachings that says there's a golden chain of goodness that unlocks the evil chain of the iron chain of evil. And when both chains are thrown away. And it's a beautiful idea, but that's really what it comes down to. We need illusions to be from illusions, and that letting go of grievances is the key. When we are absolutely determined to let go of all grievances as they arise, the reward of that is to finally discover the inception of true healing, the will and the whereby to heal yourself and your brother and the world. It's a place where we come to a true humility where we discover that the motivation for awakening, for discovering enlightenment, was extremely narrow, very personal, very about myself. And until that humility comes, we're motivated out of self-interest. But when we begin to discover this real power to awake, to heal, and to serve God in that way, then the whole thing changes, and we see that even the desire for salvation was an illusion, and that salvation really represents the freedom from all personal self-interest. But that opens the mind and the heart to true service, and it opens to true compassion, the compassion that will end all needless suffering. The kind of compassion that will allow you to lay down your life for a brother without any sense of sacrifice or loss. There is no sacrifice or loss when we let go of the personal. There is just simply the will the willingness and the will to be of service to God. And I don't think there's a word in the English language that can really describe the sense of privilege. And so the idea of sacrifice is totally not there. All that we have is deep gratitude for being in that place and for being able to do this. And that deep gratitude is the realization. And there's a knowing, this is a true knowing, that that thousands will rise with you. There is no greater love than to be of service to your brothers in the healing process, the healing of the world. And there's nothing to do. But there's a little bit of discomfort. Well, I mean, you could say there's quite a bit of pain actually. But there's a knowing that it's not true, that which suffers is not part of me. That the healing process is a contribution you make to life. And it's not a sacrifice, because each time you go through one of these processes of healing, true healing, then you awaken to more and more of the joy of life. So again, all we can do is be thankful and know that we walk with Christ. Thank you for listening.